Hey guys, today I wanted to get a little bit more in depth. You can call this a part 3 to my PRC 6 video. I want to get a little bit more in depth on the actual connector. These connectors here go by a few different names if you're looking them up. They are the U-79U is, I believe, the generic name for this connector, but they do appear under different names with different pinout configurations. So for example, on my handset here, the connector is actually called a if I can get in focus here, U161U connector, and that refers to the specific way it's wired. So looking those up, you should be able to get a good idea. Those terms should help you find the connectors if you're looking to get your own. I actually, when I was first started on this, I bought a couple spare connectors, which is why I'm actually building another one of these. As you see, the other one is still in my PRC. So this is actually a second cable that I'm making, just in case I ever want to use one of these without hauling around the big radio. And we get into what that guy is in a few minutes. So I'm still, again, wiring to a Kenwood connector. A Kenwood connector is a 2-prong connector. These are both referred to as TRS prongs or plugs. The larger one is 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch, and the smaller one is 2.5 millimeter, or I can't be bothered to do the conversion. Wire goes around. I've yet to heat shrink this one. I'm going to heat shrink it and probably liquid tape it just to help seal it in. I'm holding that back just because I wanted to show you guys this before I finished it up. So on the Kenwood connectors, the small prong here is the speaker, and the large prong is the microphone. Now you see that they have 3 silver portions. Those are the actual connectors. Again, tip, ring, sleeve. The ones you see on iPhones and stuff are actually tip, ring, sleeve. That's the difference, and that's how they get the microphone to work. This is pre-iPhone connector. So instead of using 4 sections on one prong, they do 2 on each. I know it looks like there's 3, but actually only 2 of them are in use on each. That's, again, in reference to the silver parts. So coming in here, on the specific cable that I'm using, the red, if I can get in here, the red and green wire are the positive and ground wire for the speaker. And the white and I just pointed at my phone screen, like you guys can see that. The white and the black wire in the back are the positive and ground wires for the microphone. This black wire that goes over top, I will touch on after, but I'm just going to go through this connector. Now, if you just bought 2 of these connectors and you wanted to wire them up to anything, you could pick your own layout. But specifically to work with these Vietnam, Korea, whatever era accessories, this is the way you're going to want to wire them. Coming back in here nice and close. Red, which is speaker positive, goes to pin A. Green, which is speaker ground, goes to pin B. White, which is mic positive, goes to C. Coming around the side here, we skip over D for now. We'll get back to that in a second. And E is the black wire from the microphone, or mic ground. And you can see just sort of those little letters in there. And the letters also exist on the other cable as well, like attached to the handset. And that'll help you figure out where to put all your wires. And this black wire that's going up and over is a ground wire. So, although on the Kenwood pin, I'm showing you guys this one back here, E is the speaker ground. On the handset itself, looking at the stats, which are in my first video that I made about this, which is like two videos back on my channel. So if you want all the extra resources and everything, just go back and check that video out. But coming in here, you see the same letters there. E is not microphone ground. It's actually microphone PTT. This configuration runs on a 5-pin configuration, not a 4-pin like this guy does. So it may not actually be necessary, but it's proven useful. Come on, focus again. And hasn't proven to cause any issues to bridge B, which is the speaker ground, over to D, which is microphone ground on this old school guy here. And then use pin E, which is the push-to-talk pin, as the effective ground pin for the Kenwood connector. I don't know if that's making sense. I've made this video like 4 times now because I couldn't get good lighting in my shop, so I came out to my desk again, where it seems like I always shoot things, where I have a nice lamp overhead that gets me even enough lighting that I can show this stuff off. So yeah, this extra wire here may not be necessary, the one that goes up and over, but it might also be 100% necessary. So I figured, why not put it in instead of trying to guess, out of the old documents and all the shitty information I've been able to find online. I figured, well, let's just put it in. And in this case, I was actually able to use a thicker gauge wire, which normally wouldn't be a good idea because it can mess with your impedance and stuff. I just threw that on and threw the zip tie around it there to help secure this whole thing together, so there's less stress on just those 4 connectors, and I have a nice thicker wire with a little bit more work there. So that configuration, again, it's just using pins A, B, C, and D, A, B, C, D, and E, and in that order is speaker positive, I'm really messing this up, roll back 2 seconds here. Using pins A, B, C, D, and E on this U-79 connector. To adapt it to Kenwood, you connect speaker positive to A, speaker ground to B, mic positive to C, bridge ground to D from B, and then mic PTT/mic ground on E. And that should make this connector work for you. And I just wanted to include one little bonus thing, which is this guy. Now, this guy, you'll see, is USB at one end and audio plugs at the other end. 3.5mm plugs. This device is called a USB DAC. DAC stands for Digital Audio Converter. You can get these pretty cheap on Amazon, although Amazon's not the best. Jeff Bezos and shit. It's a convenient place to get stuff like this, especially with certain stores not being open at the moment. So this allows you to run a microphone and speaker that uses standard 3.5mm connectors into your computer using this little card here, basically. Now you'll know, I mentioned earlier, that the Kenwood plug uses a 3.5 and a 2.5mm connector, which is why I have this little extra cable here that just converts the 2.5 up to a 3.5 so that it fits into this plug. You can see just underneath there, the plug is green. In the world of computers, green means speaker or headphones, and this sort of pinkish, brownish, beigeish, whatever color it's coming out on camera right now, that's normally microphone. So to make this work, you take your big pin on the Kenwood, which is microphone, and if I can do this one-handed, you plug it in to microphone, and then you take your adapter, and you, if I rotate everything so that it fits, loop that around there, and plug it in without breaking the cable I just soldered on. Here, let me pause for a second. You plug that in, and now, if I plug this into my computer, and then plug my handset into here, I can actually use this handset on my PC. I can use it in video games or on Discord. I actually have played a couple rounds of Rising Storm 2 using this as a squad leader. It's a pain in the ass because anytime I want to talk to anybody, I have to lift this up to my ear and then use my other hand to press push to talk on the keyboard. Speaking of Discord and video games, I'm getting a message right now about playing some. A pro and a con And it might have to do to this little bridging wire. I'm not 100% sure. Figure it out for yourself. Means that this push-to-talk button is disabled. It doesn't do anything. But the microphone still works, and it might be due to this bridging wire. So I'm not going to remove it from the equation. Yeah, the microphone will work. I suppose because it's always grounded. This is the exact same way I wired up this one, and I showed in previous videos that the push-to-talk works for the radio, and the mic is always live when you're using it for your PC. So if you're playing video games, you just have to do the one button on the keyboard to talk, and you don't have to like necessarily push a button. This is a bad example because again, I'd have to pick this up anyways, take my hand off the keyboard. But if I was using something like this pilot helmet, which when I got it was missing a connector, so I rewired it to the U-167 or whatever it's called plug, which is not accurate because that is an infantry radio connector and it wouldn't be used on a helicopter pilot helmet or a vehicle helmet because they use different connectors. It works. So I can just push the push-to-talk on my keyboard and use the pilot helmet when I'm flying helicopters and crashing them into the beach on resort in Rising Storm 2. So that's just a little extra throw on at the end there. If you have anything wired up to Kenwood, any headset, modern airsoft stuff, or anything like this for that you've custom run, you can use it on your PC. So if you're not an indoor airsofter and you live somewhere that has winter, or you're just trying to get that airsoft fix in during the pandemic and you want to throw your gear on while you play video games, you can use your airsoft or whatever headsets. Some people have really expensive headsets that are wired to Kenwood. This can allow you to use that stuff with your PC. Again, this is a USB DAC with a 2.5 female to 3.5 male adapter cable. This might work with similar style connectors like the Motorola connectors that look similar to the Kenwoods, but I think their pins are closer. They're prongs, and as you can see, these are already pretty close together, so you might not be able to get away with a smaller looking connector, but a Motorola might fit. Anyways, this is like my fourth take of this video, and we're already past 10 minutes. 12 minutes now. 12 and a half minutes. And I'm getting pinged and shit, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope this was helpful to like even one person, or the couple people who've commented on this. I know one guy said he was working on something similar, so if he's had a hiccup with any of this wiring, potentially this will help. I'll try to leave a link in the description to where I got this wire. It'll be Amazon.ca because I'm a Canadian. But it was like one of those little shoulder-mounted mic speaker units. I think it was a Redavis one, same brand as my radio. Also, if you're going to be doing stuff like this, buy 2 radios. It's way easier to test your communications. Or buy one of these for like, probably this combo would cost you like less than $20 in the States. For me, it was like $23 up in Canada. But this combo of DAC and wire is probably going to be less than $20. So if you're working on something like this and you want to be able to test it, just get one of these, plug it into your computer, and see if it works. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up now, 13 and a half minutes, and talk to you guys later.